You might think the canned foods you eat every day are safe, but what if I told you there's a hidden danger? The sodium bombs, the chemical linings, and the bacteria that thrives when processing goes wrong. But the canned food industry doesn't want you to know what's really inside those shiny containers sitting in your kitchen right now. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to reveal the 8 canned foods that could be destroying your health, and reveal the 3 surprising ones that are actually safe to eat. But first, let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually read what's in that can? What part of the world are you watching from? Leave a comment below. Here are the 8 canned foods that deserve a permanent spot on your never buy list, plus the top 3 that actually earn their place in your pantry. Watch now to protect your family. 1. Canned pasta. Nothing screams easy dinner like canned ravioli or spaghetti and meatballs. But crack open that familiar red can and you're getting more than pasta and sauce. You're getting a chemistry experiment that's been sitting on a shelf for months. 1 cup of canned ravioli delivers around 740 milligrams of sodium. Many cans push closer to 300 milligrams. That's half your daily sodium budget in one sitting, and nobody eats half a can. For anyone dealing with blood pressure issues or taking heart medications, that's not dinner, it's a medical incident waiting to happen. The reduced sodium versions try to fool you by swapping regular salt for potassium chloride. Sounds harmless until you realize that anyone with kidney problems or on common blood pressure medications can end up with dangerous heart rhythm issues from too much potassium. The label whispers better for you while potentially making things worse. Then there's the can itself. Acidic tomato sauce is particularly good at pulling chemicals out of can linings. Even BPA-free cans often contain other bisphenols that researchers are finding equally concerning. You're not just eating pasta, you're eating whatever the acid has leached from the container. The ultra-processed formula includes sugar, corn syrup, phosphate additives, and preservatives designed to make it taste identical every time. Studies link higher consumption of these ultra-processed foods to more diabetes, heart disease, and higher mortality rates. That childhood comfort food is comfort with a steep price. 2. Spam. That rectangular pink block sliding out of its distinctive can might trigger childhood memories, but it's delivering one of the most concentrated sodium attacks in the grocery store. Spam was created during the Great Depression as a way to use unwanted cuts of pork. The marketing was clever, promising busy housewives an economical shortcut and later becoming military ration fodder. But the basic formula hasn't improved much since the 1930s. This processed meat tastes similar to ham, but with a mushy texture of bologna, especially when eaten straight from the can. The sodium content is brutal. A single 2-ounce serving contains around 790 milligrams of sodium. That's more than half your daily allowance in a portion smaller than a deck of cards. Eat a normal serving and you've blown past safe limits before lunch. A review of 10 studies involving more than 268,000 people found that a higher intake of sodium is linked to an increased risk of stomach cancer over a period of 6 to 15 years. Like other canned meats, Spam relies on nitrites to maintain its pink color and prevent botulism. Those same nitrites form nitrosamines in your digestive system, the compounds that prompted the World Health Organization to label processed meat a known carcinogen. The texture alone should give you pause. Fresh meat doesn't survive months in a can without industrial intervention. The phosphate additives, sodium compounds, and preservatives required to keep Spam shelf-stable create something that barely resembles actual pork. 3. Vienna sausages. Those pale, soft links floating in brine might trigger nostalgia, but they're delivering a triple threat. Massive sodium loads, questionable additives, and botulism risk if processing fails. One small can contains 700 to over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, up to 2/3 of what people with high blood pressure should eat in an entire day. The reduced sodium versions still pack 700 plus milligrams. That's the FDA's loophole in action. Reduced only means 25% less than the original, not actually safe. Vienna sausages are low-acid canned foods, which means they rely entirely on perfect high-temperature sterilization to keep out Clostridium botulinum. When that process fails, and the 2023 Cayenne recall of over 2 million pounds of canned meat shows it does happen, you get botulism without warning. The toxin has no smell, no taste, no visual clues. Even when the processing works perfectly, you're still eating nitrites, the chemicals that form cancer-causing nitrosamines, phosphate additives that stress aging kidneys, and whatever chemicals the can lining contributes. All for protein you could get from eggs or beans without the industrial baggage. 4. Canned chili. Canned chili lives in the danger zone of food science. It's a low-acid food that demands extreme sterilization, 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit under pressure, to prevent botulism. When companies cut corners, people pay with their lives. The 2007 commercial chili sauce incident resulted in nationwide recalls and some of the most serious botulism cases in recent history. Beyond the botulism risk, canned chili is a sodium bomb. A single cup contains around 1,000 milligrams of salt. Eat the whole can, which most people do, and you've consumed nearly half your daily allowance before adding crackers or bread. The phosphate additives that keep the meat texture uniform deliver highly absorbable phosphorus, exactly what nephrologists warn older adults to avoid. Over time, that extra phosphorus stresses kidneys, stiffens arteries, and weakens bones. It's a slow-motion health disaster disguised as a hearty meal. 5. Canned soup. Soup seems innocent enough, but it's hiding multiple hazards. Sodium overload, sneaky potassium swaps, and chemical can linings that regulators can't agree on. According to a 2012 study, eating one serving of canned soup each day for 5 days resulted in a more than 1,000% increase in urinary BPA levels. A half cup of condensed tomato soup contains about 480 milligrams of sodium. Nobody stops at half a cup. Pour a normal bowl and you're consuming over 1,000 milligrams, nearly your entire daily budget if you're watching blood pressure. Chicken noodle and vegetable beef push even higher, delivering 600 to 900 milligrams per serving. The reduced sodium trap strikes again. Many companies replace missing salt with potassium chloride, marketing it as potassium salt to sound healthy. For anyone with kidney disease or on ACE inhibitors or ARBs, that hidden potassium can trigger hyperkalemia, dangerously high blood potassium that can stop your heart. 6. Canned tuna. Tuna feels like the safe choice. Lean protein, omega-3s, budget-friendly. But those cans hide mercury levels that build up over years, plus the risk of histamine poisoning and botulism from compromised seals. Light tuna carries far less mercury than albacore white tuna, about a threefold difference. For younger bodies, maybe that's manageable. For someone over 60 with kidney issues or blood pressure medications, mercury accumulating in the brain and kidneys becomes a real problem. The fog and tremors don't announce themselves until damage is done. If tuna warms up on the dock before processing, bacteria convert its natural histidine into histamine. Canning doesn't destroy histamine, it stays there permanently. Open a can, make your sandwich, and an hour later you're dealing with flushed skin, racing heartbeat, and what feels like a heart attack but is actually histamine poisoning. The 2025 recall of dozens of tuna brands from major retailers happened because easy open lid designs could let botulinum bacteria slip through. One factory sealing error and your protein becomes a paralysis trap. 7. Canned spinach. Popeye got it wrong. Canned spinach isn't strength in a can, it's a soggy mess swimming in problems. Spinach sucks cadmium from soil like a sponge. Cooking and canning don't remove heavy metals, they concentrate them. Cadmium builds up in kidneys and bones for 15 years at a time. Europe sets strict limits to protect kidney function, but the damage happens slowly, quietly. 1 cup of canned spinach delivers over 700 milligrams of sodium, nearly a third of your daily budget. Even no-salt added versions sneak in 200 milligrams from processing. Reduced sodium often means they've swapped in potassium chloride, which sounds healthy until your blood pressure medications make that extra potassium dangerous. Spinach is also loaded with oxalates, the crystals that trigger kidney stones, and enough vitamin K to interfere with blood thinners. For anyone on warfarin, canned spinach becomes a juggling act you don't want to mess up. 8. Canned peaches and syrup. Those glistening peaches look wholesome, but they're swimming in sugar water that hits your bloodstream like a hammer. 1 cup of fruit cocktail in heavy syrup contains over 40 grams of sugar, 11 teaspoons dumped straight into your system. Light syrup is just thinner sugar water. For anyone over 45, that kind of sugar shock doesn't just cause discomfort, it interferes with medications, magnifies blood pressure problems, and chips away at heart health. Studies show adults getting 17 to 21% of calories from added sugar have nearly 40% higher risk of death from heart disease. Push sugar intake higher, and the risk nearly triples. That innocent fruit cup is part of a dangerous tally. The safe alternatives to eat. Not every canned food deserves suspicion. A few products actually deliver on their promises of convenience without compromising safety. 9. Canned tomatoes. Tomatoes are high-acid foods with natural pH below 4.6. That acidity, often boosted with citric acid during processing, creates an environment too hostile for botulism bacteria. Combined with high-temperature sterilization, you get a product that's genuinely safe. Processing actually improves tomatoes nutritionally. Heat breaks down cell walls, making lycopene, the antioxidant that gives tomatoes their red color, easier for your body to absorb. You get more usable lycopene from canned sauce than from fresh tomato slices. 10. Canned beans. Beans are low-acid foods that require aggressive sterilization, but when done correctly, they're safer than many fresh alternatives. The retort process, pressure cooking at 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, kills dangerous bacteria and creates a commercially sterile product. Once properly processed and cooled, nothing new gets inside until you open the can. Compare that to deli meats and soft cheeses sitting in refrigerators where listeria can thrive. Beans are locked in a sterile vault. The sodium problem has a simple fix. Drain and rinse for 10 to 30 seconds under running water. Start with small portions if beans cause digestive issues, rinse them well, and let your system adjust. The benefits for heart health, blood sugar control, and gut bacteria make temporary bloating worthwhile. 11. Canned salmon. Wild-caught canned salmon deserves a spot on the safe list, especially compared to its mercury-heavy tuna cousin. Salmon is naturally lower in mercury while delivering higher levels of beneficial omega-3 fatty acids. The canning process for salmon follows the same high-acid, high-temperature treatment that makes tomatoes safe. The fish's natural oils actually help preserve the omega-3s during processing, so you're getting genuine nutritional value, along with convenience. Unlike many canned meats that rely on nitrites and phosphate additives, quality canned salmon contains just salmon, water, and sometimes a touch of salt. The bones, if present, are soft enough to eat and provide extra calcium, a bonus for older adults concerned about bone health. Choose wild-caught over farmed when possible, and look for brands that use no salt added or minimal salt. Do you consume any of these canned foods? Share your experiences in the comments. If you found this video helpful, type yes in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Also, be sure to check out these 2 videos we've selected just for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.